What's going on, guys? It's NYPrepper here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about hunting after SHTF. So we're in the middle of hunting season here in upstate New York. We just had our opening day of gun season for deer and bear last Saturday in the southern part of New York State. And I thought it would be a good time to talk about hunting after SHTF, because I think that a lot of preppers, they have this fantasy that they're going to go out there and hunt down a bunch of deer and game, and that's going to sustain their family and themselves. And, you know, that's just not reality in my opinion. And I'm actually just driving on this dirt road here through a state forest, and I just got done doing some shooting not too long ago, and I'll be uploading a video of that shooting trip that I just finished. You know, so I wanted to just talk about hunting after SHTF. You know, I think a lot of guys, they have this fantasy that, you know, after SHTF they're gonna go out there and, you know, sit outside and hunt down some deer. And I can tell you guys practically that that's not a realistic strategy, because, you know, speaking as a long-time hunter, I've been hunting since I was a teenager, especially deer hunting. I've been deer hunting and bear hunting since I was in high school. And, you know, many times you don't come home, you know, with a deer every time you go hunting. You know, it's not like people think. You know, if you're a hunter, then you definitely understand what I'm saying. But if there's a lot of people out there that are not hunters, but they're preppers, and they think that they're gonna go out there and take a deer, and it's just not that easy. You know, first of all, if there is a collapse of society, everybody's gonna go out there and try to take a deer or whatever game animal is prevalent in your area, whether it's elk, mule deer, whatever the big game animals are in your area. You know, those animals are going to be hunted the first few weeks of SHTF. It's going to be like the opening day of hunting season all around the country. And within a matter of days or weeks, all those game animals are going to retreat deeper into the wilderness once they realize that there's hunters out there and people trying to kill them. All right, it's just like here in New York, when you hunt public land areas like I do, because I don't have my own land to hunt on, I go onto public property, you know, state lands and wilderness areas. And what happens is, after opening day, you know, the first few days of the deer season, when it opens up, that's your best chances of getting a deer or shooting a deer, you know, because the deer don't know that there's people in the woods trying to kill them. But, you know, a couple of days into the deer season, you know, the deer start to realize that there's people in the woods and they're trying to kill them. So the deer retreat further into the wilderness away from people, or they change their habits and they become nocturnal and they don't really go out much during the daylight hours, okay? And that's what happens now during rule of law, when the grid is up and everything is fine. And that's when you have a regulated, controlled hunting season, okay? The deer do that now when you have a controlled hunting season. After a couple of days into the season, the deer become harder and harder to see, especially in areas that are closer to roads and things like that. So imagine what it's going to be like after SHTF when, you know, there's no regulated hunting season. It's a total free-for-all. Everybody can just go out there and shoot whatever animal they come across to feed their family. You know, the wildlife are going to get smarter, and they're going to adapt, and they're going to retreat further into the wilderness, or they're going to become nocturnal to avoid people and to get away from people, okay? So what I predict is going to happen is, after SHTF, the first couple of weeks or first couple of months of SHTF, a lot of animals are going to be killed because you're going to have a lot of people that didn't prep, and they may have a gun in their house and they think they're going to go out there and shoot some deer, or even a lot of preppers that think they're going to go out there and take some game to supplement their food supplies. And within a few weeks or even a few days, all the game animals are going to retreat away from human areas, you know, human population centers, and away from houses and roads. They're going to go deeper into the wilderness, and they're going to go move around at night. So it's going to be harder to get lucky and shoot a deer, you know, a couple of months into SHTF, because they're all going to be flustered and scared. So, you know, that's one thing. But, you know, the other thing is too, is like I was saying in the beginning of the video, is that you're not always going to be successful. You know, a lot of guys that are not hunters and they've never been hunting before, you know, they think that every time you go into the woods, you're going to come out with a huge buck, you know, and it just doesn't work that way. You know, hunting requires a lot of skill, obviously, and experience, but a lot of it is just luck. You know, it's just being at the right place at the right time. It's just like fishing. You know, you could be a lifelong fisherman and know everything about fish, and you can have all the best baits and, you know, the best boat, and you could have a private lake with your own, you know, access to it, and nobody else fishes there. But it's not a guarantee that you're gonna get lucky and find a huge bass every time you go out. You know, that's just not the way it works. You know, hunting involves skill and stuff like that, but, you know, a lot of it is luck. You know, it's a lot of it, I would say 60 to 70% of hunting is luck, okay? And just being at the right place at the right time. And, you know, that's just the way it is. So you should not rely on hunting as a way to feed your family after SHTF. You should definitely try to hunt if you can, and maybe you'll get lucky and get something. And maybe you'll find a deer or a bear or whatever, moose, you know, elk, mule deer, whatever's in your area. Maybe you'll get lucky, but you should not rely on that as a strategy for your food supply. You know, you should already have food stored up in your house or your bug out location, your bug in location, whatever. You should already have an adequate food supply, and any kind of hunting that you do is just extra to add to your food supply, but you should not rely on it. You know, there's a lot of guys that think that they're going to go out there and they're going to hunt and trap and fish, and that's how they're going to sustain themselves. And, you know, even if you're an experienced hunter, trapper, and fisherman, you know that there's an element of luck involved, and you know, that's just the way it is. So you should not rely on that to feed your family. And you know, just talk to any of your friends that are hunters, and they'll say the same thing. You know, every time you go in the woods, you don't always come out with something. You know, it's just the way it is. So I just wanted to do this quick video, guys, because it's hunting season, and I was just thinking about that right now. So, you know, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. Take care. God bless. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.